Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're looking at something that is fundamentally changing how we understand the very building blocks of our world. We're talking about artificial intelligence in analytical chemistry and spectroscopy. And right off the bat, I want you to think about AI here not just as some fancy piece of software, but as the ultimate superpower. It's literally taking the meticulous, often incredibly slow, and highly manual world of chemical analysis and turning it into something rapid, dynamic, and honestly, pretty mind-blowing.
Okay, let's dive right into this. First, we'll start by tackling the chemical data explosion. Then we'll see exactly how AI acts as the ultimate lab assistant, and look at how it's supercharging spectroscopy. After that, we'll get into some wild concepts like artificial noses and tongues, discuss the realistic hurdles in AI integration, and finally, we'll peek into the future with self-driving labs.
Kicking things off with Section 1, the chemical data explosion. To really grasp this, we first need to understand the incredibly high stakes of modern chemistry.
So, before we get to the AI part, we have to answer this fundamental question. What exactly is analytical chemistry? Well, basically, it's the science of playing detective. Whether you're testing local drinking water for safety, developing the next big pharmaceutical, or working a crime scene in forensic science, you're constantly trying to answer two simple questions. First, what is present? That's your qualitative analysis. And second, how much is present, which is your quantitative analysis.
Now, historically, this detective work was grueling. It required intense, highly specialized expertise, it was agonizingly slow, and, frankly, prone to human error. But when we bring artificial intelligence into the mix, that entire dynamic flips on its head. Suddenly, we have rapid interpretation, highly accurate results, and fully automated workflows. AI steps in as the absolute perfect solution to a very modern, very specific problem.
And that problem? It's scale. Millions. That is the sheer scale of the villain in our story today. Modern analytical instruments produce massive, completely overwhelming quantities of data. We are talking about millions of sensor readings and thousands upon thousands of complex spectra and molecular fingerprints. Expecting a human to manually interpret all of this data today is basically impossible. It's an absolute avalanche.
Which brings us right to Section 2, AI as the ultimate lab assistant. Because here is exactly how AI is stepping in to help chemists conquer this avalanche of data. Think of it as a completely intelligent workflow. It all starts by acquiring raw, messy data directly from the instruments and then pre-processing it, basically cleaning it up. From there, the AI extracts the most important features, which allows the machine learning models to train on those specific key patterns. Finally, the system generates a prediction, like identifying an unknown compound in a blood sample, and validates it for absolute accuracy. So, raw chemical data goes in, and a validated AI-driven prediction comes out.
All right, let's zoom in a bit for Section 3, supercharging spectroscopy and chromatography. We're moving from that macro workflow down to the micromolecular level. Now, spectroscopy studies how matter interacts with light and radiation, and AI is completely elevating its most high-stakes applications. Take NMR, or nuclear magnetic resonance. It's basically an MRI for molecules, and it is absolutely vital for drug discovery. AI effortlessly untangles messy molecular data here to predict complex structures. In infrared spectroscopy, or IR, it automatically recognizes functional groups, making industrial quality control lightning fast. And for UV visible techniques, machine learning predicts chemical concentrations on the fly for continuous, real-time monitoring.
And we're seeing the exact same revolution over in chromatography, which is how chemists separate complex mixtures. AI acts like a master detective here, untangling messy graphs with overlapping peaks and background drift. For gas chromatography, AI instantly predicts compound identities. That's exactly how we ensure our food is safe to eat and our environment isn't polluted. In high-performance liquid chromatography, or HPLC, AI actually optimizes the separation conditions itself. This massively reduces development time in biotechnology, meaning life-saving drugs can get to market so much faster.
So if you take away one thing, make it this. AI's greatest strength is pattern recognition. Chemical datasets are packed with hidden relationships that human eyes literally just cannot see. AI uses techniques like principal component analysis, or PCA, to essentially cut through the noise. It takes millions of messy data points and visually clusters them so humans can actually make sense of them. It's like finding the needle in a million haystacks, but doing it instantly.
Which leads us to Section 4, artificial noses and tongues. And I gotta say, this is where the sensory technology gets truly fascinating.
You heard that right. Chemical sensors are gaining human-like abilities. An electronic nose, or e-nose, is a device that quite literally mimics the human sense of smell. It uses arrays of chemical sensors, and then machine learning steps in to identify specific odor patterns and classify the samples. The AI literally learns how to smell.
And real-world impact of this is just staggering. An e-nose can be deployed to sniff out environmental pollutants or instantly detect food spoilage in a warehouse way before it ever hits your grocery store shelves. But most incredibly, imagine going to a clinic and getting a medical diagnosis just by breathing into a tube, with an AI analyzing the biological markers directly in your breath. No needles, no waiting.
And right alongside it, we've got the electronic tongue. It does the exact same thing, but for liquids. It mimics human taste perception to interpret incredibly complex sensor responses. This ensures absolute, rigorous quality control in the beverage industry and in pharmaceutical analysis, keeping everything we drink and the medicines we take perfectly safe.
Okay, let's pause the excitement for just a second and move to Section 5, Hurdles in AI Integration. Because, let's be real, with any massive technological revolution, there are always some grounded, realistic obstacles.
The industry is currently fighting 4 major hurdles. First up, poor data quality. Simply put, if the measurements are bad, the AI fails. Garbage in, garbage out. Second is instrument variability. A machine in London might read a sample just slightly differently than one in Tokyo. Third, there's limited training data for highly niche applications. But the biggest hurdle of all, interpretability. Scientists cannot just accept a magic answer from a black box. They absolutely must be able to understand the reasoning and the logic for exactly how the AI arrived at its conclusions.
But overcoming those hurdles brings us to our final stop, Section 6, the future and self-driving labs. Let's build that energy back up because this is incredible.
We are moving rapidly toward fully automated workflows. Picture this, a self-driving lab where a sample is introduced, the instrument measures it, the data is acquired, AI interprets it, and a final report is generated, all seamlessly with zero human intervention in the middle. The human labor is drastically reduced, the workflows are insanely fast, and the consistency of the results just absolutely skyrockets. And this brilliantly illustrates the ultimate goal here. Process Analytical Technology, or PAT. This is all about enabling real-time decision-making. Instead of waiting days for lab results to come back, AI provides immediate feedback right on the manufacturing line. If a batch of pharmaceuticals starts to deviate in quality, the AI detects it instantly, preventing waste and optimizing production on the fly.
The advancements on the horizon are absolutely incredible. We aren't just looking at massive self-driving analytical labs. We're looking at smart spectrometers interpreting data in real time, portable AI laboratories deployed directly into the field for autonomous environmental monitoring, and personalized point-of-care diagnostics right in your local clinic. Deep learning is completely untethering chemistry from the traditional lab bench.
So that leaves us with one really big, provocative question. In a world of self-driving laboratories, how will the role of the human chemist actually evolve? Because the chemist isn't going away. Instead, they're transforming. Using machine learning, managing digital laboratories, and interpreting AI models won't just be a nice advantage. Understanding AI will be the absolute core skill for tomorrow's analytical chemist. The tools are getting smarter, which means the scientists will finally get to focus on the big, world-changing questions. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it left you eager to learn more.